Hey, hello guys, how you doing? How you doing? You okay? My name is Tapua Taps and or Mason, Mr. Mason. So you can call me whatever you want, basically. Yeah, so I'm making this video because I promised myself and I promised a couple of people that I'm going to be making a quick video about the subject that we're going to be talking about, and the subject at hand today is astrology. um so basically this is just a quick presentation, a quick video with a quick PowerPoint presentation of the basics of astrology. Okay, so just a quick introduction of myself, for anybody who do not know who I am. Like I told you, my name is Tapua and I'm not an astrologer. I'm not an authority on astrology or anything like that. I'm just a student. Basically, what happened to me is that in the past 2 years, I've been looking at a few different subjects, and I've been reading and researching some of these things because I'm in the middle of writing a book. And some of the subjects that I'm looking at is they really do with ancient religion, really. So we're talking about mythology, we're talking about motifs and symbols in religion, we're talking about astrotheology, we're talking about ancient religions, different ancient religions. And one of the subjects that I'm looking at is astrology as well. So this video is going to give you a quick rundown of what astrology is all about and how astrology has influenced different religions. And so I need to put a disclaimer out there. This video is not I'm not here to discredit or to offend anybody. So if anybody's going to be offended with any of the views and of the opinions and all of the presentations that I'm going to be making on this video, I don't mean to do that. And if you're easily offended, or if you think you might be offended by any of the things that I'm going to be saying on this video, please do not watch this video any further. Okay, so this is just I'm just sharing this information with anybody who's interested, anybody who's would ever been curious to know what astrology is all about. Because just like myself, 2 years ago, I didn't have no clue what astrology is all about, because I grew up in Zimbabwe, right? And in Zimbabwe, I've never studied any astrology at school, and I I didn't have no clue what astrology is all about. So when I started to learn these things, I was so excited because it didn't turn out to be what I thought it was. You know what I mean? So basically, this is what I just want to do. I just want to share with anybody, anybody who probably was in the same position as I was a couple of years ago. Okay. So, like I said, it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation, and like I said, this is my first video. Hopefully the picture quality is good, or hopefully the sound is good as well. So yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's try to get into the presentation. Okay, so I'm gonna hide my beautiful face over there, and we're gonna try to I'm gonna try to get the presentation video going on. Okay, so let me start with my slides. All right, perfect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so what is astrology? Now, for me to answer that question, right? For me to answer that question, I think I'm gonna try by telling you what is not astrology. Okay, because a lot of people, when they hear the word astrology, the first picture or the first thing that pops in their head is what you're looking at right now. And the first thing that they probably think is a lady behind a curtain, staring at a crystal ball with funny looking hair, funny looking things in the hair, on the head, scary face and everything. And I mean, this picture is actually lenient because this is a young beautiful lady, but most people will probably assume that astrology is all about an old lady, a toothless lady, a not very good looking, kind of scary lady, staring at a crystal ball and all that. You know what I mean? So this is the picture of most people when you Most people have never heard of astrology, and this is what they think astrology is all about. So this is not what astrology is all about. So I'm going to show you what astrology is all about, ladies and gentlemen. This is the definition of astrology. Yeah, so if somebody asks you what is astrology, astrology is actually the study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies, interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. Okay, this is a clear and this is a proper definition of astrology. Should we repeat that again? The study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies, interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. Right, so what are we looking at here, ladies and gentlemen? If you've noticed, what you're looking at in the middle, this is the sun and this is the earth. And for anybody who is any of those new age people who are probably watching these videos, and they're probably going to be screaming on their screen, what are you talking about? The earth is flat. It's the sun that goes around the earth, not the earth that goes around the sun. I'm not gonna get into that debate, okay? Because I'm talking about astrology, and I'm talking about the knowledge that we do know, that we have known for years, that have been passed on for by our ancestors over thousands and thousands of years ago. Because this was known in Egypt, this was known in Babylon, this was known in Sumeria, this was known in Persia, and they all knew that it was a heliocentric. And heliocentric, it means it is the sun that is on the middle. It is the sun that is on the middle, and everything else orbits around the sun. Okay, new age people, they're probably going to say you are talking rubbish, but we're going to stick to this, okay, for now. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at here, we're looking at the sun. The sun is on the middle. Yeah, the sun is on the middle. So this earth orbits around the sun. Yeah, so one orbit of the earth gives us 24 hours. But as the sun orbits around the earth every single day, it does that in a circle, and it's going to give 365 days, and that will give us 1 year. Right now, as the earth orbits around the sun, it goes as well in what are called houses or constellations or zodiac. A zodiac is a wheel, okay? And what you're looking at here is these are constellations. Constellations are group of stars. As you can see, these are all groups of stars, and these blue lines that you're looking at, they are dividing the groups or the houses. Okay, so there are 12 houses, 12 constellations. And so the earth and the sun, from their perspective, like for example, from the earth's perspective, so when the earth is over here and we're looking at the sun over there, what we be looking is that the earth is on this constellation. Okay, it is in this constellation because we are looking at the constellation that was in front of us. So this could have been Aries, this could have been Taurus, this could have been Gemini, it could be anything. Okay, I'm not quite too sure what this constellation is. All right, but we're going to find out later on. But what's really important here is to get the definition. Okay, so the proper definition of astrology is that it is the study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies, interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. Because every constellation that you are in, it will affect the earth and the humans, and every creation on earth in a different way. Okay, because every constellation or every house has got different different energy vibrations. So these different energy vibrations, they do affect the earth, whatever house they are. Okay, so we're gonna move on. All right. Now we do know that the sun is very important, as you can see. If you're gonna go back here, okay, we can go back here. Hold on, let's Let's just see if I can. Okay, previous one. Just bear with me 2 seconds, okay? Okay, just 2 seconds. Okay, I just need to go back to where I was, okay? Right. Okay, we're back. I apologize for that, okay? I'm still learning, and I haven't used PowerPoint for quite a long time. So as time goes on, probably the second video, third, fourth, or fifth video is going to be a lot more professional, okay? So like I was telling you, the sun is right here on the middle, okay? And we do need the sun because without it, this is what's going to happen. If the sun is not if the sun is not available, or if you do not have the sun, everything will be covered in darkness, okay? Even um if the sun is not available even for one day, you will feel the effect, okay? So can you imagine if the sun is not there for a week, a month, a year, a couple of years? Everything will be frozen. So we do need the sun, okay? So to us here on earth, the sun is very, 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 very important, because it is the sun that gives us all the energy that we need. It is the sun that gives us all the nutrients that we need. It is the sun that causes the rains. It is the sun that causes the seasons, because without the sun there will be no seasons. We need spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and this is all caused by the sun, and it's caused by the positioning of the earth as well, but we're going to talk about that later on. But what's really, really important on this slide is for you to understand that without the sun, everything will just perish, basically. So basically, the sun is the savior of life. Without it, everything perish. Right, and like I told you, as you can see, look at these lights over here. And imagine if there were no lights here, because these lights are there. But imagine maybe a couple of years or so, all electricity, all stored electricity runs out. Everything will be in pure darkness. Okay. You can see the light there because these are just the street lights. But imagine if they weren't there, everything will be covered in proper pure darkness. So we do need the sun, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, without the sun, everything will be frozen. As you can see, this man is walking on ice. All our seas and our rivers will be frozen. It'll be solid ice. Okay, so the sun is really, really important to us, and our ancients ancestors, they knew this. They knew how important the sun is. That's why they developed, and that's why they were interested in astrology, and that's why astrology is a very, very important subject that everybody has to understand. Regardless of who you are, regardless if you're religious or non-religious, you need to understand astrology, because astrology, the knowledge of astrology make you understand how the world works. Are you not interested in knowing how the world you're living in will do work? I don't know about you, but I am. Okay, so the sun is really, really important, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Okay. Again, what is astrology? Astrology, as we said, it is the study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies, interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. By definition, a celestial body is any natural body outside of the Earth's atmosphere. Easy examples are the moon, sun, the planet Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, as well as the outer stars. Each celestial body is made up of different types of material, i.e., rock, gas, or ice. Okay, so this is a more defined definition of astrology. Okay, And so when we talk about the celestial bodies, we are talking about all the other bodies, I mean the other planets and the all the things that we're seeing in the heavens. Okay, for us it will be in the heavens because they're in front on top of us, all right? So we can see the planets, the planets. Okay, we can see the moon, we can see the outer stars. So the outer stars, the immediate stars that really influences us, the ones that we talked about before, and those are the stars in the zodiac. Okay, so so yeah, so let's go to the next slide. Right. So this is the solar system. Okay, so the solar system, the sun is at the center of our solar system, and 8 planets revolve around the sun in a circular or elliptical orbit. Our Earth is the third planet from the sun and the only planet in the solar system with plants, animals, and people. Okay, so here is the Earth. Okay, and everything orbits around the sun. Like I told you, the sun is very important, and our position, which is excuse me, our position, which is the third after Mercury and Venus, is perfect and ideal for life here on Earth. If Earth was here where Mars is, there won't be no life. If Earth was closer to the sun, where Venus is, there won't be no life on Earth. So life is exactly perfect to where it is. But here, what's really, really important is to understand how everything is positioned. So we've got 8 planets here. Okay, so we've got Mercury, we've got Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, and the sun is at the middle of our solar system. Right, and okay, now what is a galaxy? Right, we live on a planet called Earth that is part of our solar system. Our solar system is a small part of the Milky Way galaxy. A galaxy is a huge collection of gas, dust, and billions of stars and their solar systems. A galaxy is held together by gravity. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, also has a supermassive black hole in the middle. This is a system of millions or billions of stars together with gas and dust held together by gravitational attraction. Okay, so that's the definition of a galaxy, and this is, as you can see, this is our galaxy over here. This is the Milky Way, and our solar system is right here. Yeah, so our sun is over here, and the 8 planets that orbits around the sun is right here. Okay, so our sun is just one of billions and billions of other suns. Okay, this is just in our galaxy, but there are there are also other extra galaxies everywhere. Okay, but our sun is just one of the billions of galaxies, billions of stars in our galaxy. Okay, and every sun will have a solar system. So basically every sun will have other planets orbiting around them. So should we say, are we the only humans on Earth? The chances are maybe not, because this is the sun. Our sun is no different from all other suns everywhere on this galaxy. Okay, so there could be other planets that have got ideal conditions for life, just like Earth. Okay, so here, what's really, really important to understand that this is our galaxy, the Milky Way, and our sun is just the same as all other. Our sun is just a star, basically. That's what it is a star that is very, very close to us, and all the other stars that we look at in the sky, they're just far away from us. That's all. But there are suns as well. Okay. Right. Now, what is the relationship between Earth and our closest star, the Sun? Like I told you, the sun is actually a star. Okay. Now, so the question is, what is the relationship between Earth and our closest star, the Sun? The two main forces and effects of the Sun on the Earth are the gravitational force, maintaining the Earth in an orbit around the Sun, and the electromagnetic radiation from the Sun, keeping the Earth's atmosphere at a particular temperature. It is the orbit it is the orbit and positioning and the 23.5 degree tilt of the Earth towards the Sun that affects our seasonal patterns. Okay, so to explain this a little bit more, a little bit further, the relationship between us and us, meaning the Earth and the Sun, is that the Sun, it pulls the Earth towards it, right? And this force that it uses to pull the Sun towards it is called gravitational force. Okay, and I know some new age people, they're probably going to be disagreeing with these things because there are all sorts of theories popping out everywhere. So, but we're gonna stick to traditional knowledge here. Okay, so the gravitational force push pulls the Earth towards it. Okay, and while it pulls it, you have to understand as well that everything in the universe is in motion. Okay, nothing is standing still. Everything is moving at a fast speeds. Okay, so everything is in motion and everything is being pulled or pulling or whatever, either pulling or being pulled by something else. So the Sun pulls the Earth towards it. Okay, and because of the um, and the sun's radiation, the sun radiates the Earth, and this is how we get life from the sun. It is because of the radiation, the light that is coming from the sun. Okay, and this electromagnetic energy, this radiation that is coming from the sun, this is what gives us life here on Earth. Okay, and if you've ever seen the Earth, okay, the Earth is tilted a little bit. Okay, and this tilt is a 23.5 degree tilt. Now, and this is absolutely perfect, because if you didn't have this tilt, there won't be no 4 seasons. There will be only 2 seasons, basically, or probably there won't be even 2 seasons. There'll be just one season on the uh, on the on the northern sphere, 1 season on the southern hemisphere. Okay, so it is this tilt, this exact perfect 23.5 degree tilt towards the sun, that gives us the 4 seasons. So everything is just a perfect, the way it is. I mean, the relationship between the sun and the Earth. Right. So this is what I was talking about. So this is the sun, and this is the sun's energy. Okay. Don't worry, it's not 2 Earths. Okay, it's just 1 Earth, but the Earth orbits. Yeah, the Earth orbits around the sun. So you see this tilt I was talking about here. Okay, if we didn't have this tilt, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, right, would be on a straight line. And if it was on a straight line, the southern hemisphere will have the same radiation of energy. And if you had the same radiation of energy, that means it will be summer. Um, it it will be summer. It will be summer. Probably every year round on the on the northern hemisphere, and it'll probably be winter on the northern it'll be summer on the northern hemisphere, and it'll be winter on the northern hemisphere. Okay, I think if I didn't explain that correctly, I think you understand what I'm saying to you. If it is this tilt, okay, this tilt of it is this tilt of the Earth that really gives us the 4 seasons. Okay, because when it's like this, yeah, like you see where the sun when the Earth is, the sun's radiation is directly towards the northern hemisphere. So it'll be summer over here, but there's less radiation going over here. Okay, and because of that, so it's going to be winter on the north of the equator. This is the equator line. It will be on the south of the equator, which is the southern hemisphere. It will be winter over here. Okay, so if you didn't have that, then probably life on Earth will be so different. So as the Earth orbits around the sun, right? If it was gonna be here, right? It's gonna be here. The sun's radiation will be different as well. Will be different towards the Earth. Okay, and I reckon, I think this is where we'll have the summer solstice, right? 21st of December, on the northern hemisphere. All right, and on the southern hemisphere, it will be the winter solstice. But we're going to talk about that later. Okay, but what's really, really important on this one is to understand this is how the 23.5 degree tilt of the Earth is it's what gives us a perfect 4 seasons here on Earth, perfect conditions for life. Okay, right. So let's go to the next slide. Right, Earth has Earth without the tilt. If we didn't have the tilt, like I explained earlier on, life on Earth will be completely and totally different. The Earth has seasons because its axis is tilted. The Earth rotates on its axis as it orbits the sun, but the axis always points in the same direction. So this is the axis, yeah. The axis always this is just an imaginary line that cuts through the equator here, okay? And this axis is always points through the same direction. So let's read that again. The Earth has seasons because its axis is tilted, and the Earth rotates on its axis as it orbits the sun. But the axis always points in the same direction. Okay, so there's the southern hemisphere and there's the northern hemisphere, and let's just read here. In December, this summer south of the equator, the winter is north of the equator. Okay, so the position of the Earth here, the way it is here, it's going to be south. In the south is summer. In the summer, and in the south is the summer because of the radiation that is hitting directly towards or closest to the Earth. Okay, so because of the tilt of the Earth here, this part of the equator, this part of Earth, southern part of the equator here, the southern hemisphere, is a lot closer to the sun, and because it is a lot closer to the sun, it will get the radiation, more radiation than the northern hemisphere, which is a lot far away from the sun. Okay, so probably this will definitely contradict with how I explained it earlier on. Okay, but I think this is a proper definition. Okay, so let me just recap that again. So this is the sun, and because of the tilt of the Earth, yeah, the Earth, the southern part of the Earth is a lot closer to the sun, and the northern hemisphere is a lot further from the sun. And because of that, the sun's radiation is more here than it is over there. So because of that, this is what makes the seasons change. So in the summer, in the northern hemisphere here, right? In the northern hemisphere here, it's in the northern hemisphere it's a winter, okay, and in the southern hemisphere here it's summer, okay, right. And now at this point, I think it's very important to just remind you as well that the people that gave us astrology, and they give people that went on to write even in scriptures as well, like ancient scriptures, like ancient religious scriptures, they lived in the northern hemisphere, okay, because most of the religious texts were written in the northern hemisphere. So everything that we understand about the astrology and the scriptures and everything, it's from the perspective of the northern hemisphere. Okay, so most of the things that we read in the scriptures, when I'm telling you that the astrology influences religion, at first it might not make any sense to you because you'll be living in the southern hemisphere, if you come from the southern hemisphere, that is. Okay, so this will probably be December the 21st. December the 21st, yeah, the December the 21st, the winter solstice, because the December the 21st, because possibly because the Earth, I mean the sun, the radiation is at equal length, is equal. The north is having equal radiation, and the south is having equal radiation. Okay, so this is probably December the 21st. Okay, and this is March. Yeah, March, fall in the south of the equator. Yeah, and fall. Yeah, and spring. So this will be winter. This will be spring. What's the way? This is autumn in the wind in the south, and this is spring in the north. Okay, so this is June. This is how it look. This is June, and this is September. So really, we're talking about the four cardinal points. Okay, so this is December the 21st, March the 21st, June the 21st, and September the 21st. Okay, that's what they're talking about here. Okay, I'm sorry if I didn't explain it to you properly. Okay, excuse me. Right, so here we just need to understand a couple of things here. Okay, so we need to understand the equator, the Tropic of Cancer, and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now the Earth, yeah, is divided into two. It is divided into two halves. Okay, like we've been discussing before, the northern part is called the northern hemisphere, and the southern part is called the southern hemisphere. And there's a line, yeah, a line that divide both of them, and this line is called the equator. Okay, line of the equator. Okay, and right on top of the equator, yeah, we get the Tropic of Cancer. This is the Tropic of Cancer, and right below the equator we get the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, now this will not make sense right now, but they will make sense later on. Okay, as we move along through this video, but just bear in mind that these are just imaginary lines. Okay, and they've been defined as the Tropic of Cancer right at the top of the equator, and Tropic of Capricorn at the bottom of the equator. Okay, right, now question: so how does the orbit positioning and the 23.5-degree tilt of the Earth towards the sun affect our seasonal patterns? Right, I think we covered this before, but let's just read this along. The seasons are caused as the Earth, tilted on its axis, travels in a loop around the sun each year. Summer happens in the hemisphere tilted towards the sun, and winter happens in the hemisphere tilted away from the sun. I think we covered that before. So when the sun is tilted towards the Earth, when the Earth is tilted to the sun, that will be summer. When it's far away from the sun, that will be winter. Okay, it's all about radiation, how close the radiation is, how close the sun's radiation is, and how far away the radiation is. This is what gives us the seasons. Okay, right, this is a better example, there's a better explanation here. Okay, like we told you before, the sun is on the middle. Yeah, so as the Earth orbits around the sun, this is this December the 21st. And why is it called the solstice? It's called the solstice because the sun's radiation is at equal value or equal power. The southern hemisphere is receiving the same amount of atmosphere of radiation with the southern hemisphere. So every person, if you're standing on the left, if you're standing on the southern hemisphere, you're standing on the northern hemisphere, you will be receiving the same amount of radiation. So this is the shortest day. I think, yeah, this is the shortest day of the year. This is the shortest day of the year in the south in the this is the shortest day of the year in the southern hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere, and this is the longest day, I think, on the southern hemisphere. I'm going to find out later on, but I think I'm correct on that one. Okay, so basically what's important here is to understand this is winter. This is in winter. Yeah, this is December the 21st, and this is March the 21st, and this one is called equinox because the sun here, and the sun on the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere is receiving equal amount of radiation. So I think I'm going to explain this later on, okay, properly. But definitely the equinox is because the sun's radiation is the same amount of radiation on the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere, because as you can see, the 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 way the earth is positioned here is not tilted away from or towards to. It's just an equal distance or equal proportion, okay. So this, on March the 21st and September the 21st, they are both the same, okay. But this will be summer, this will be spring in the northern hemisphere, and it will be autumn in the northern. This will be spring in the northern hemisphere. This has been autumn on the southern hemisphere, okay. And this is June, yeah. This is the 21st of June, the summer solstice. This is the longest day, the longest day of the longest day in the northern hemisphere. This is the longest day of the year, okay. And yeah, okay, let me repeat that again, okay. So this is the longest day of the year in the northern hemisphere, and this is the shortest day, yeah, shortest day of the year in the southern hemisphere. And over here in December, when the earth is over here, this will be the shortest day in the northern hemisphere, and it'll be the longest day in the this will be longest day in the southern hemisphere, okay. I've definitely have explained that properly or better, okay. So like I told you, March and September are equally the same. That's what they're called, the equinoxes, okay. So the solstices, will be day will be longer than night, yeah. So day will be longer than night on these 2 days, okay. So in this northern hemisphere on June the 21st, the day is longer than the night, okay. But in the southern hemisphere it will be different, and on December the 21st it will be the opposite, okay. Day will be shorter in the northern hemisphere, but it will be longer in the southern hemisphere, okay. Right. Now, what other celestial bodies influences our planet Earth and human life and nature? What other celestial bodies influences our planet Earth and human life and nature? Right. The answer is our sun is just one of the stars among few thousands in our galaxy, like I said before earlier on, yeah. There are also a group of 12 star clusters or 12 constellations in the sky that the sun and the earth orbits around, and it is the positioning and orbit of the earth, sun, as well as planet positions towards the 12 constellations that determines our yearly months and seasonal patterns. These are the bases and tools of astrology. I think this is worth reading it again, okay? Our sun is just one of the stars among the few thousands in our galaxy. There are also a group of 12 star clusters or 12 constellations in the sky that the sun earth orbits around, and it is the positioning and orbit of the earth sun as well as planet positions towards the 12 constellations that determines our yearly, months and seasonal patterns. Okay, that was a mouthful. Right. I think here it is worth mentioning that you have to remember it is the earth that orbits around the sun, okay. But from our perspective, the sun is orbiting around us, or the sun is orbiting as well. When you're looking at the sun, right, I mean, from our perspective, we can see the sun moving from east to west, okay. We've seen the sun rising. Yeah, we've seen the sun right on top of us at noon, and we've seen the sun setting. This is from our perspective. This is just an optical illusion. This is from our perception, okay? But what actually is happening is because we are orbiting. As we are orbiting, right, the sun seems to be rising from the east and setting in the west, okay? But the sun is actually not moving. We are moving. But as we are moving, we go every 30 days we are in different constellations, or we are facing different clusters of stars, which are called the zodiac, or the constellations, okay? uh, right. Okay, this is just explaining the winter solstice, like we explaining before, what I was struggling to explain before. Okay, so this is the Earth at winter solstice on December the 21st. So this is the sun's radiation. Okay, I think this picture is a lot clearer. Okay, so let's imagine the sun is over here. Okay, and so the sun is radiating its rays. Because of the positioning of the earth here, this part of the earth, which is the northern hemisphere, northern of the equator, this the equator here, yeah, it is winter. And why is it winter? Because it's far away from the sun's rays. So the sun is not radiating as much as it is down here, and because of that, this is winter over here. Okay, and the sun is radiating more on the southern hemisphere, because this part of the earth is closer to the sun. Okay, so this is why the southern hemisphere is having summer here. Okay, so this is a lot better. Okay, better explanation. And the summer solstice, again, we don't really need to explain a lot further here. I think we covered this already. What's worth noting here is the equator here is 0 degrees. This is what divides the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. And we've got the Tropic of Capricorn, which is south of the equator, and we've got the Tropic of Cancer, which is north of the equator. Okay, right. Again, I don't think we need to explain this further, because we explained it a lot. We explained it already. Again, this is the autumnal equinox. So on September, what's happening is on September is that the sun's rays is at equal length. Okay, so the sun's radiation is the same in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere. So we've got equal length of radiation. So both days are the same. So there's equal amount of daylight on the southern hemisphere, and there's equal amount of daylight on the northern hemisphere. That's how we get the September equinox. Okay, right. Now we're gonna try to explain astrology, as I think as we showed this picture already before. So now it's worth mentioning properly now. Okay, so here is the sun. Yeah, and here is the earth, like we've been trying to explain earlier on. So the earth is orbiting around, it's going anti-clockwise. Okay, it's going anti-clockwise. Yeah, it's going anti-clockwise. So here is the earth, here is the sun here, and here is the earth. As the earth orbits around, as the earth rotates on its axis, yeah, that's how we get 24 hours. We get 24 hours by the earth rotating on its axis. Okay, and 24 hours equals 1 day. Okay, so for example, if the earth rotates on its axis here, we get 24 hours. Okay, so the earth and the sun, they are in this constellation. Okay, they are in this constellation here, right? So it is this constellation's energy that is affecting the earth, or life on earth. That's what astrology is all about. So the pulling force or the radiation force or the energies that are being released by these star clusters here will have an effect on Earth, just the same way the moon does affect the oceans, okay, and life on Earth here. So these groups of stars will have an effect on life on Earth. So basically, the sun and the Earth will be in this constellation, okay, and so, and it will stay in this constellation for the next 30 rotations or 30 orbits, which is 30 days, okay. And after 30 days it goes in different constellations. So as it's going this way, after 30 days it'll be facing this constellation, okay, because it will be here, okay. Yeah, it could be here, or I could have, or it could be the other way around as well. Like I said, it could be this constellation that is affecting the Earth, yeah, life on Earth, or it could be this constellation right here in the bottom, on the bottom here, okay. So since the sun, since the Earth, yeah, since the Earth is in closer to these constellations of here, okay, to these groups of stars. So either way, astrologers, I mean experienced astrologers will explain this a lot better, okay. But what's really really important is to understand is that the groups of stars, yeah, in each house will have an effect of life on Earth, okay. Right. Now, please explain further what are constellations or zodiac. Okay. Please do explain further what are constellations or zodiac. Sure. Basically, a zodiac is a group of stars forming a recognizable pattern that is traditionally named after its apparent form or identified with a mythological figure. The zodiac is an area of the sky centered upon the ecliptic, the apparent path of the sun across the celestial sphere over the course of the year. In Western astrology and formerly astronomy, the zodiac is divided into 12 signs, each occupying 30 degrees of celestial longitude. Okay, so should we read that again? I think we should. Okay, so basically, a zodiac is a group of stars forming a recognizable pattern that is traditionally named after its apparent form or identified with a mythological figure. The zodiac is an area of the sky centered upon the ecliptic, the apparent path of the sun across the celestial sphere over the course of the year. In Western astrology and formerly astronomy, the zodiac is divided into 12 signs, each occupying 30 degrees of celestial longitude. Okay, so this picture is exactly the same picture that we were looking at before, okay. So here, let's try to go through the basics here, okay. So what you're looking at here, we're looking at the same thing. The sun is at the middle and the Earth is having the anti-clockwise orbit around the sun, okay. And as the Earth orbits around the sun, like we said before, it goes through different groups of stars, and these groups of stars are called constellations. And these constellations are in total 12 of them. Okay, and these constellations, they make a wheel. Okay, this is the wheel that the Earth goes into. Okay, and we've got Aries here, yeah, which was called the lamb before. So which is Aries, the lamb, which is if you are in the northern hemisphere, Aries, if the Earth is in Aries, that will be spring. Okay, so Aries is the lamb, so it will be in Aries, then it will go to Taurus. Okay, we're still in spring. And as we move from spring for 3 months, we're gonna go, Taurus is the bull, and we're gonna go to the twins here, Gemini, okay, and we're gonna get into summer. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of cold, okay. So we're gonna get into Gemini, the twins here, and so we're approaching summer, yeah, And as we get into Cancer the crab, so we are in summer here, so the earth will be here. If the earth is here, it is closer, it is in this house, so it will be in summer. And we're gonna spend 3 months of summer, so we're gonna get to Leo the lion here. And we slowly gonna be approaching winter. And this is from the perspective of somebody who lives in the northern hemisphere. Okay, so we're gonna come here to Virgo the Virgin, yeah, the Virgin Princess here. And after Virgo, we're gonna go to the Twins, yeah, which is in and we're talking about spring here, so we're gonna spend 3 months in spring. Okay, so spring really starts from here in Libra, the scales. And from Libra, we're going to go to the Scorpio, which is Scorpius. And we're still in spring here, but we are approaching winter. Okay, so we are in Scorpius here. Then we go to the bow and arrow, and which is Sagittarius, November, December, and we are in the winter season. We are in the winter season here. Yeah, the miserable winter season. So this is the bow and arrow, and we're gonna go into the sheep. Yeah, the sheep or the donkey or the goat, which is Capricorn. Yeah, so we are in December. Yeah, we are in December, January, December, January. So this is the spring. This is the winter time in the northern hemisphere. I must point that out again, in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it will be summer. So we're talking about in the northern hemisphere. Okay, and so from Capricorn, yeah, the goat, we're gonna go to the man here with the jug of water here, which is Aquarius. So we are now in the spring season, the rainy season. Yeah. No, actually, no. We're still in we are approaching spring season, but we're still in the winter. But it's gonna be it's still winter. Sorry, it's my apologies. It's still winter in the Aquarius year, and from winter, then we're gonna go to the spring season. Okay, actually, the spring season starts from around here, February, from February to March. Okay, so 3 months of winter, that will be in Pisces, the fish. Okay, now you probably heard me talking about animals here instead of saying Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpion, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Yeah, but before these names that you're looking at, because these names are, some of them are Greek, some of them are Roman, but before that, these names were identified by their shapes. Okay, so Aries here, the astrologers or the people who used to look at the sky, they will look at the sky, and while they will look at it, they will see the shapes of that group of constellation. Okay, and that group of constellation, the shape that they're looking at, it will be an animal figure or something that they can recognize. And in the case of Aries, it was a lamb. Yeah, so a lamb. We're talking about lamb here. It looks like a head of a lamb here. This used to be called a lamb. And here, Taurus, before it was called Taurus, it was the bull. Okay, and it's called the bull because of the horns here. Okay, so ancient people will be looking at the constellations, and what they look at is they look at these figures that gives the idea, or it looks like a it looks like a bull. It looks like the horns of a bull. Okay, so they call it the bull in Taurus. And here in Gemini, what they look is what they used to see before it was called Gemini. They'll look at two figures that look equally the same. Okay, and they were called the twins. Okay, so Gemini is the twins here. And in Cancer, what they thought they saw before it was called Cancer, it was a crab. Okay, so that's why it was called a crab. Cancer was called a crab before. And Leo, this looks like a lion. Yeah. So from the earth, when they're looking at the sky and they see this group of stars and they see this figure, and this figure looks like a lion. So it was called lion before it was Leo. So it's lion the Leo. Yeah. So here, from Earth, again, the people that looked at in the sky and on this constellation, on this group of stars, what they thought they saw was a young girl spreading her legs here, giving birth. Yeah, it's like a woman, a young woman with her legs open, and she's giving birth to a kid, a child here. Okay, a young girl. So that's a young girl giving birth to a child here. Okay, that's why it was called the Virgin. So Virgo is called a virgin. Okay. Now, if you move along here, you look at something that looks like a square, okay? And and when they looked at the people that gave us astrology, when they look at the sky and they look at this constellation or this group of stars, and they see a square, and they used to call it a scale because it is both sides are equal or both sides are balanced, or it's sometimes called a scale or it's called Lady Justice, okay? So these are the scales of justice. That's the Libra. Now, if and when they used to look at the sky again in Scorpio, um, in October, November, what they saw, what they thought they saw was a figure that looks like a scorpion, a Scorpio. Okay, that's why it was called Scorpius or Scorpion. And as you can see, it kind of resembles a Scorpio here, and with its tail here, and with its kind of a thingy coming off its head, okay, and its legs here. So it looks like a Scorpio, okay. So that's why it's called a Scorpio. And the Sagittarius, November, December, when the Earth was in this constellation, when the Earth sign is in this constellation, they thought they saw kind of like a half man, half donkey, or half horse. That's why it's called sometimes a donkey or a horse, or another explanation is like a bow. Somebody who's holding a bow and an arrow. Okay, so it's like somebody who's hold. You see, a bow here and an arrow here. So sometimes it was called a horse or a bow and arrow. Okay, so that's Sagittarius here. Now Capricorn, December, January. Now look at this. It looks like a sheep. It looks like a head of a sheep. That's why sometimes it's called a sheep, right? Or it looks like a donkey. A head of a donkey, and that's why sometimes it's called a stable, or so it was called a stable or a donkey or a sheep. Okay, and in Aquarius, January, February. So when the people looked in the sky and they saw this figure, and this figure looks like a man, yeah, looks like a man who's holding something, and this something looks like a jug of water. Okay, so it's like a man who's holding a pitcher of water or a jug of water. Okay, so that's Aquarius here. And in Pisces, it looks like two identical fish. Yeah, it looks like two identical fish. That's why Pisces is resembled or is always pictured as two fishes. Yeah, so these are the two fishes. So what's important here to understand is before these names, yeah, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, before these names were given these names, yeah, before these constellations were given these names, they were known as the lamb, the bull, the twins, the crab, the lion, the virgin, the scales, the backbiter, yeah, the backbiter, or scorpion, the bow and arrow, or yeah, the sheep, or the stable, the man with the jug of water, and the two fish. Okay, and yeah, I think that's what's important here to understand. Okay, now question: why are these constellations called zodiac, and where did their names come from? Basically, zodiac means wheel, and it refers to a belt of the heavens within about 8 degrees either side of the ecliptic, including all apparent positions of the sun, moon, and most familiar planets. It is divided into 12 equal divisions or signs. We talked about this before. So that's Aries the lamb, Taurus the bull, Gemini the twins, Cancer the crab, Leo the lion, Virgo the virgin, Libra the scales, Scorpio the Scorpion the Scorpio or the backbiter, Sagittarius the bow and arrow or the archer, Capricorn the Capricorn is the sheep or the donkey, Aquarius the man with the water, jug of water, Pisces the two fish. So the zodiac is often presented in astrology as a wheel. Okay, so this is exactly what we're talking about before. Yeah, so that's Capricorn here. So that's Capricorn. Actually, let's start here with the lamb here. So here's the lamb, here's the bull, here's the twins, here's Cancer, here's the crab, here's the lion, here's the virgin girl, here's the scales of justice, here's the backbiter, here's the bow and arrow. See, a man donkey, yeah, half man, half donkey. Here is the goat, yeah, or sometimes it's depicted as the horse. Here is the man with the jug of water, okay, Aquarius, and here's the two fish, okay. So, question: how does the zodiac determines our season? The answer: the first day of spring, March the 21st, each year is determined by the first day of spring, March the 21st, each year is determined by the exact time that the sun moves into the tropical sign Aries. The time of the day when the transition between one season and the next occurs is determined by the sun, earth, apparent orbit around the zodiac. When divided into equal halves, the top half of the zodiac represent glorious spring and summer, and miserable and darker spring and winter on the bottom. Okay, should we repeat that again? The first day of spring, March the 21st, each year is determined by the exact time that the sun moves into the tropical sign Aries. The time of day when the transition between one season and the next occurs is determined by the sun-earth apparent orbit around the zodiac. When divided into equal halves, the two halves of the zodiac represent glorious spring and summer, and miserable and darker spring and winter on the bottom. Okay, so here it is. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, if you look here, right, this is called the ecliptic. Okay, so basically what we're looking at here, imagine the earth. Yeah, the earth is at the back here. Okay, and this is the Tropic of Cancer, like I told you before, and this is the equator. Okay, so imagine the earth here. A picture of the earth is superimposed at the back of this picture. Okay, and you've got the Tropic of Cancer at the top, and you've got the equinox. The equator on the middle, and you've got the Tropic of Capricorn on the bottom. Right, now I'm going to try to explain to you what do we mean by Tropic of Cancer, and what do we mean by Tropic of Capricorn, and what do we mean by the equator. Okay, here, these two halves, yeah, imagine you are in this, let's assume you are in the northern hemisphere, and we're saying the northern hemisphere all the time because I want you to understand how astrology was written and how it has influenced how life on earth, and how it has even influenced things like religion and stuff. Because the authors of the astrology, the people that gave us astrology and give us people that gave us all this ancient knowledge, they came from the northern hemisphere. Yeah, as far as written down is concerned. Okay, as far it's a very important point I need to make you understand, as far as written down is concerned, because this knowledge was known everywhere, all over the world, but the people that wrote it down, yeah, that gave us on paper, and that went on to give us scriptures and stuff. They wrote it from the northern hemisphere. Okay, right. Now, if you are living in the northern hemisphere, sorry, let me get some water. Right, if you're living in the northern hemisphere, okay, here, so this is the sun. What you're looking at here, yeah, this is the movement of the sun from our perspective. I told you the sun doesn't actually move, okay. Well, the sun, it does move, but it does move very slowly, but it moves orbiting around another sun. But that's a topic, that's something, that's the subject of another topic. That's the topic of another video. We'll talk about that later on in the forthcoming videos, okay. But from our perspective, the sun doesn't actually move, but it looks like it's moving because we orbit around it. Okay, so now from our perspective, the sun will be moving like this, yeah, from Aries. This is a symbol for Aries, yeah. So here's the lamp, Aries the lamp. Here's Taurus, Taurus the bull, the Gemini, the twins, yeah, the twins, Gemini the twins, Cancer the crab, Leo the lion, Virgo the virgin. Okay, and here's the scales of justice: Libra, Scorpion, Sagittarius, Capricorn the god, Aquarius the man with the water, the two fishes, Pisces. Right, so what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, here, this is the springtime from the Earth's perspective. Okay, so here is the spring, here is the spring, March the 21st. Okay, you have to remember, before we have this calendar that we're using today, the ancient people, their years used to start on March the 21st. That was the beginning of the year. Okay, so here is March the 21st, spring. Okay, and here the sun is rising. Yeah, so basically the sun is born here. Yeah, the sun is born here. The sun starts here. The sun starts here. Okay, and the sun is born here, and it rises in lamp, in Aries. Okay, it's a lamp, so the sun is a lamp here. Then the sun goes into Taurus, so this is March, April, May, Taurus. Then it goes in June. Okay, June, Gemini, the twins. Now, why is this line called the Tropic of Cancer? It is called the Tropic of Cancer because here the sun is in the Tropic of Cancer, the constellation Cancer, the crab here. And this is the highest point where the sun goes to. The sun can never go higher than this. This is the highest point. So this is why this is very, very important. Okay, this is the middle, this is the starting point. Okay, so the sun is born here and it rises, and this is the highest point it will go here. Okay, it can't go further than this. The only way it can go is down. It can't go higher than this. This is the highest point it will go. So this is the Tropic of Cancer that I showed you before on Earth. Yeah. So now this is the summer solstice, the highest point of the sun, the highest point where the sun goes. So in the northern hemisphere, this is summer. We are in summer here. Now after summer, the sun is now losing its heat. It's not radiating that much, yeah? So it's slowly going down, yeah? It's slowly going down in Leo, yeah? Slowly goes down in Leo. Then it goes slowly goes down in Virgin, the Virgo, yeah? So December the 21st here, the sun is no longer ruling here. The sun's radiation is no longer felt here. So the sun is losing its strength. But mythologically, the ancient people used to say the sun is dying. So basically the sun is born here, and the sun is at its highest here, at its brightest here. But slowly, slowly the sun is dying. And it goes to the scales. And when it goes to the scales, it's judged. This is judgment time. And when it's judged, the sun goes in Libra, because that's where it's getting judged. And slowly, slowly the sun is dying. Yeah? It's losing its strength. Yeah? It's really, really dying, because it's no longer felt here in the northern hemisphere. So in the northern hemisphere, they're not feeling any sun anymore. It's gone. So Scorpio here, the backbiter, yeah, it's biting it. It's giving it the kiss of death. Sagittarius, it's dying, and Sagittarius is a bow and arrow, or an archer. Is getting pierced. The sun is getting pierced by the bow and arrow here. And on the winter solstice, the sun is dead. Here, the sun is dead. Because this is the bottom, this is the most bottom it can go. The only way it can go is up. Yeah? So for the next 3 months, or 3 constellations, which is Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, the sun is going to resurrect or re-arise again here in spring. Okay? So the sun here is killed here. So for the next 3 constellations, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, the sun is dead for 3 days, for 3 constellations. But it's going to rise again, because the sun is always rise. It rises from the dead. It rises from the winter. So as it rises from winter, it's going to come again. So ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. This is very, 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 very important. And I want you to understand this picture that you're looking at, because this is where all religion came from. Because this is something that was known for thousands and thousands of years ago. It was known by the Hindu people 5,000 years ago. It was known by the Egyptians probably longer than that. It was known by the Babylonians. It was known by the Sumerians. It was known by the South Americans. It was known by lots and lots of ancient people. And every ancient civilization and culture have got their own mythological or storyline to explain exactly what's going on here. But they used to explain them with stories. Okay? And the people that gave us the modern religion, which are the Hebrews, the Jews, and the Romans, they gave us their versions 2,000 years ago. And their version is Christianity. Okay? Because the sun is always a deity. The sun is the king. It is the Son of God. The sun gives us light. The sun rises. And as the sun dies, but the sun resurrects again. Okay? So if you really want to understand scriptures and everything, you need to understand this, what's going on here. So when you're talking about the sun resurrecting or re-arising from the death, is the sun is rising from the miserable winter time, and it arises again in spring equinox, on the spring equinox, on March the 21st. So the sun is born, the sun rises here, the sun rises. Okay? And as the sun is born, you can say the sun is born or the sun arises. You can say whatever you want. But actually, let me explain something to you that happens here on December the 21st. December the 21st, there's something that happens that's called this the winter solstice. So basically, what the winter solstice is, the sun for 3 days on December the 21st, the sun does not appear to be moving at all. This movement it was doing every single day, because you gotta remember, every single day the sun moves is 1 degree in each constellation. So it spends about 30 degrees or 30 days in each constellation. But for some reason, on December the 21st, it does not appear to be moving at all for 3 days. So basically, the ancient people who used to notice these things, they thought the sun was dead because it's not resurrect, it's not arise, it's not moving anymore. The same movement was doing every 1 degree in each constellation. So it'll be 1 degree in every so it'll be 30 degrees in the constellation of Aries, 30 degrees in the constellation of Taurus. 1 day is 1 degree. You gotta remember that, okay? So on the 21st of December, it does not move at all. So ancient people used to think the sun is dead. They used to think the sun is dead. So, but for 3 days, the sun doesn't move at all. But exactly 25 December, on the 25th of December, the sun starts to move again. So that's why the ancient people used to say the sun was born on the 25th of December. Okay? So this is the storyline, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So I think for this video, I'm going to stop here. And next time, I'm going to make another video and we're going to take it from here. And we're going to explain a lot further how what we're looking at is affected what we know now as far as our knowledge of life and our knowledge of religion. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna stop here. Okay, this is the next video. I was gonna say this is the next slide I was gonna show you. And this is the same thing. See, this cross here is exactly what we were looking at before. Okay, so this is the springtime. This is the Tropic of Cancer. Yeah, so that's the summer solstice here. And what looking here is December the 21st, autumn. Yeah, so this is where the Lamb of Justice is, and this is the Tropic of Capricorn. Yeah, this is Capricorn here. So we're looking. This is exactly what we're looking at. Every time when you look at a cross, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, especially when you're talking about ancient things and everything, we are talking about astrology. This cross is the oldest symbol that you can ever come across, because it's talking about the oldest story that was ever taught. Because the movement of the sun is very, very important, because the ancient people understood that without the sun everything will perish. So they needed to document and to understand how this movement affected them. So what we're looking here, we're looking at Aries, because this is where the sun arises from. And here we're looking at Taurus, the lamb, the bull. Then what we're looking at here, we're looking at Gemini, the twins. And here, Cancer, the crab, the highest point, like I said before. And after the crab, we're going to the Lion King, Leo the lion. Then from Leo the lion, we're going there to the Virgin, Virgo the Virgin. And the sun is losing its strength here in the northern hemisphere again, is losing its strength here. So it gets killed, or it's dying, basically. And it's being judged. It goes through judgment time here. by the scales of justice. Then from here, from the scales of justice, it gets betrayed. The sun gets betrayed. Mythologically speaking, it gets betrayed by Scorpio. And Scorpio gives is that kiss of death here. Then from here, the sun gets pierced by the archer. Yeah, Sagittarius, with its bow and arrow, it pierces it. Yeah, but as it pierces it, it dies here. Okay, but on Capricorn, you can say the sun dies here, but at the same time, the sun is born again. Like I told you, on December the 21st, the sun doesn't move. Has it been moving 1 degree northwards? The sun, this is the northest it can go to, and this is the southest it can go to. So the sun has been moving northwards. Yeah. And on December the 21st, it doesn't move, but for 3 days, no movement. But after 3 days, it starts moving again. Okay. So this is the stable Capricorn. So now you do understand where the nativity story came from. Capricorn here. So now the sun, it moves to Aquarius, the man with the jug of water. How many times have you heard those words before? Yeah? The man with the jug and water. Go and look after them to him. That's when you're gonna know when I'm gonna come. Yeah? When am I coming? When are you coming again? Go and look out for the man with the jug and water. And we're talking about Aquarius here. After Aquarius, we go to the 2 fishes. Okay? The 2 fish, of which the multitude were fed. Talking about Pisces. And after Pisces, it rises again. The sun rises again. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to stop right here because I don't want to overload you with too much information, okay? I don't want to overload you with too much information. So we're going to stop here and hopefully, hopefully you've learned something from here, and I'm really sorry because I've got a bit of a cold and my voice is not perfect at all. So hopefully, guys, you've learned something from here, okay? But we're gonna take it from here for the next video, okay? Thank you so much for watching the video.